The project that never goes away, Ed, Canucks at 50, keeping us out of trouble. And we're into a really interesting time now.
We're into our third decade. It's awesome.
We're into a really interesting time now because I think a lot of us are connecting with players we covered pretty closely here. And we're into the 2000s. And we've each got one coming up. I'll let you lead off. Ed, what do you got coming?
Well, I've got the trade that got the Sedins at the 99 draft. And a classic Brian Burke. I don't want to talk about that. I've already talked about that. I get him on the phone 20 minutes, and I literally asked 2 questions. He was great, and as you know, as we work through this, it's the people are being, the characters involved are being so generous with their time, so revealing. And he told me a couple of things I didn't know. I thought, I had kind of the chapter and verse of it all, but there were a couple of really neat twists about that deal. And it really is an incredible deal. I'm pretty sure, I've got to go back and check this, but it's the only time in NHL history a team ends up with the second and third pick. So 2 picks out of the top 3, and it really is. And then the other amazing part, there's so many different levels to it, is what else was out there in that draft. Because if they don't come out with the Sedins, they're going to end up with a bust, and who knows where they are for the next, the length of the Sedin's career here.
You mean had Patrick Stefan dropped?
Pavel Brendel.
Sure,
that's who they were looking at, or Jamie Lundmark, right? Those are the names being kicked around if they don't come out with the Sedins. So, again, just another really rich story and fun to write and fun to research.
I've been able to reconnect with some players. My topic for Monday, Canucks at 50, is what happened in 2003. The fact that series against the Minnesota Wild, up 3-1, the path to the Western Conference Final appears clear. The surprising Anaheim Ducks are up 3-1 on the number 1 seed Dallas Stars. The Canucks are up 3-1. They're about to leave Mini. They go through the arena, and Todd Bertuzzi tells the fans, don't bother buying tickets. There's not going to be a Game 6. Well, there was a Game 5, there was a Game 6, and there was a Game 7. Had an opportunity to talk to, from a Canuck perspective, Ed Jovanovski, who scored 5 goals in that playoff series, about how they collapsed. And from the other side, a former Canuck, people forget that was Cliff Roning's 1 year in Minnesota.
Right.
He said, we had no business beating that team, but we had the one decider. It was Jacques Lemaire, 11 Stanley Cup titles, who basically won the series for them because they frustrated the hell out of the Canucks. And that 7-2 game here in Game 5, basically, I think the series was over at that point. They got to him. They got to Dan Cloutier. So lots of interesting recollections how the Canucks could have had a path to the 2003 Stanley Cup Final, and how it didn't come to be.
Bertuzzi was never the same player after that.
He never was,
series,
because
he came back long before Steve Moore.
Yeah.
He came back the next season, and he wasn't half the player he'd been for the previous 2 years.
And this is a guy who had 48 goals that year, and I think what the Wild did that was so effective was that they didn't wake a sleeping giant. He only scored 1 goal
Willie Mitchell.
in that series. Yeah. The idea was let Todd chip it in. Don't go after him. Let him get the puck, then engage him. And he got away from his power game. And it's a fascinating story. So look forward to these next week.